Hi again, thanks for coming back. Today we're going to be talking about good fats and bad fats. There's a lot of controversy on this whole thing, and my goal for you is just to give you some straightforward information so that you can feel better about eating good fats and have a little better understanding of bad fats and why you want to avoid those. We want to know what they are, why they're important, how should we incorporate them, and that's what we're going to quickly review today. Bottom line though is people have the understanding that fat makes us fat, right? Doesn't that make sense? It sounds right, but it's actually not. And that's the whole misconception that we've been living with since 1977. But we are very fortunate because finally there is a lot of information out there that is good research that is actually showing us quite the opposite. Here you'll see a Time magazine, I think it's from June 23rd this year, 2014. It says, "Eat butter, scientists label fat the enemy and why they were wrong." This is actually very exciting news that this is becoming to the forefront and understanding why they have been wrong. In 1977, the Senate committee came up with their guidelines for the amount of fat we should be taking in. And it already came back, it all stemmed from one particular researcher's, charismatic researcher's data that was pretty flawed in the end. But nonetheless, by 1980, the USDA decided that all fats were bad for you. And guess what? Like, that was 34 years ago. That's most of our lifetime that we thought that fats are bad for us. And don't you remember when that came out in the 80s? Oh my goodness, everything was fat-free everywhere you looked. And guess what my favorite fat-free item was? Yeah, Entenmann's fat-free Danish pastries. And shoot, I enjoyed those like everybody else, thinking I was doing okay, and all that was happening was I was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I worked out harder and harder and nothing helped. It just kind of all went in a downward spiral. And very, very frustrating because back then you thought, well, we're making these healthy choices. So just recently, actually, just a side note, I quickly went to the Entenmann's website to see, wonder what they're selling these days. Are they even around? And they are. But what they don't have anything fat-free anymore, so I guess they quit that fad. But I had a laugh about their healthy options. And their healthy Entenmann options had 49 grams of carbohydrates. Let's see, what does that translate into? Like 12 teaspoons of sugar. Those were their healthy options. From 1977 to 2012, we just encountered the vast nutritional experiment. And that's what some researchers are calling it. It was a vast nutritional experiment that went very wrong, by the way. So let's review the results of this vast nutritional experiment. Type 2 diabetes has increased 166% from 1980 to 2012. 166%. $245 billion later because of the disease. And 89 million, I'm sure a lot more actually, are pre-diabetic, all from this vast nutritional experience. So making the case for healthy fats and less carbohydrates has been very, very controversial. But you know what? The evidence is mounting and people are becoming, I know you guys have been scratching your head thinking something is wrong with this, and most of you have figured this out already. I just want to give you a little bit of an example of which fats, now you're starting to think, okay, what kind of fats can we eat? Well, that's what we're going to talk about next. But I want to tell you one of my biggest frustrations is a trip down the grocery aisle, especially the middle aisles. It's an overwhelming and quite frankly a very maddening experience because you know you should be eating fat, but everywhere you look, every single package has something either healthy or nutritious or the Heart Smart or whatever. And it's again, these are manufacturers that are following the trend, and how are you supposed to wade through this? You guys are intelligent, I know that, but how are you supposed to wade through all the information and misinformation out there? This is a reason why I decided to do these videos. Getting the weight off is one thing, but understanding how you can keep it off is a much bigger picture. And it'll take a long time before the powers that be are going to, advertise quite liberally that they have been wrong all these years. It's going to be a long time. And the problem with that is I don't think we have that much time to wait. So let's figure this out for ourselves. The research is out there. We just need to be smart about it. So the research has, the shift of the calories when they took away the fat all went to starches and carbohydrates, right? Starches and sugars, I should say. And well, guess what happened? That is, what did we talk about in our first video? When you raise your blood sugars, when you eat foods like starches and sugars that raise your blood sugar, you raise your insulin levels and you start storing storing fat. And there's the obesity epidemic that we have. We're actually #1 in the world for obesity. Isn't that fantastic? So, it really all boils down. Once you have, if there's nothing else you get out of these videos, when you understand that you have control of your insulin output, you have control of your weight and your health, okay? Those go hand in hand. So just to be clear, the war on fats has created one of the biggest health crises in our time. And so we do need to include healthy fats. So let's review some of those just to make it really simple. I'm not going to go in great depth right here. It's not going to be boring. You can read that later on in the email below. So I'm going to tell you why you need to include healthy fats, because they're very satisfying. They reduce your cravings. They stop you from overeating. There's so many health benefits from having good fats. And so the buzzwords you're always hearing about is omega-3 and omega-6. Real quickly, those are 2 essential fatty acids that our body needs. Meaning we don't produce them naturally, and they are essential for our life, for our health, so we have to take them in. The problem is that omega-3s and omega-6s, they should just be at a particular ratio that's healthy for you. You should have 1 omega-3 to 1 omega-6, or maximum 1 omega-3 to 5 or 6 omega-6s. So the ratio should be very close like that, and that's not the case. The problem with a lot of the oils that are pushed, and all the packaged foods and stuff have a lot of heavy omega-6 with virtually no omega-3. So the balance is off, and that is causing a lot of disease issues. Actually, vegetarians have a very hard time if they're not concentrated on including enough omega-3, and therefore they end up intaking too much omega-6. So I just quickly want to review a couple ones that are fantastic to a good balance, okay? But we are actually programmed, believe it or not, like this magazine said, we're programmed to avoid butter, to avoid coconut oil. Those are saturated fats. Don't be scared of saturated fats. Just make sure you're choosing good quality saturated fats. There's so much research on that. I won't even get into it right now. But anyways, all these years we've been tending to have less butter and coconut oil and more vegetable oils like corn, canola, soybean. The ones that you should be looking at are coconut and coconut oil, olives and olive oil, organic pasteurized egg yolks, butter made from raw grass-fed organic milk. Now you're going, well, where am I going to get all this stuff? I know, sometimes you can't get them exactly the way I'm explaining. These are the best source of omega-3 and omega-6s, so that's kind of a goal for you. But I just want you to understand, either way, you're doing better for yourself when you're having real food. So avocados is another really, really good one. Raw nuts such as almonds and pecans, grass-fed meats, unheated organic nut oils, and even palm oil. These are really, really superior fats for your body. Now, what do? Guess what? They increase your metabolism. They turn your body into a fat-burning machine. And the health benefits are just unparalleled. And without these fats, we are actually harming ourselves. Some primary sources of highly processed, highly refined, and highly oxidized oils are in the processed foods. These should be avoided as much as possible. Some examples are corn oil, canola, soybean, hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated fats, margarine, and shortening. Hydrogenated fats like margarine actually weaken the cell membrane, and therefore your cell actually loses good nutrients, and also bad nutrients, I don't want to call them nutrients, substances enter the cell, and voila, you have now inflammation. And that is actually one of the biggest causes of disease, is the inflammation. So constantly taking in bad fats and ignoring the good fats because you've been told from 1977 to do that has actually caused us a big health issue here. So just don't be scared of incorporating good fats into your diet. I want to just review with you here today just 5 of my favorite savory recipes, and you can give them a try, give me feedback on them. But my next video, I really am excited about it, because this has been such a huge issue for so many people, is sleep problems. And I will go over why this is a huge deal for maintaining weight and for illnesses together. But I'll give you some simple, holistic, easy ways to help you with your sleep aids, and that's all in my next video. So I sure hope you join me. But anyways, let's quickly review just some of the recipes that I'm giving you today, and give me some feedback when you get a chance. 5 of the recipes I'm sharing with you today, a lot of people think you can't have any of this if you want to eliminate blood sugar spikes or insulin spikes. But the first one is pepperoni cheese pizza. with crust and everything. There's a lot of different varieties and variations, but this one is just a real hit for most people. So I want you to give that one a try. Cheese and onion quiche, and you can throw everything else in there, but oh my goodness, do I love this one. I always make two. I have one in the freezer, always ready to go, and one for breakfast. Another one is pancakes. We call these ones flappers. Now, these pancakes, I'm telling you, they're unreal pancakes, but how I serve them is with a little bit of brie and walnuts on top and a little bit of caramel sauce, believe it or not, on top of that. And guess what? Couple grams of carbs. And you can have this for breakfast. You can serve this when you have your company over and nobody knows the difference except that they're not craving and having blood sugar crashes in about 30 or 90 minutes, okay? A real nice one, because the cucumbers are in season right now, is a cucumber with buttermilk dressing. Oh my goodness, this is to die for. Again, something great if you're going to a barbecue or just for your family and you've grown some great cucumbers, a good way to use those with buttermilk dressing and everything. And let's see, what is my last one? Oh, my last one's my favorite one. Focaccia. This recipe I found online. I don't know where I found it exactly, but I think there are like 400 reviews and 399 of them are like 5 stars. So I thought, okay, I got to give this a try. This is unbelievable. Now you have bread. And so it's focaccia. You can make it in a focaccia. You can put it in a loaf pan. You can make it in little, muffin pans or whatever. And the texture, it's like you're having pumpernickel bread, but not the strong taste of pumpernickel. But just gives you a real good chew. You put some butter on it. You can toast it. You can, put it under, your eggs, and you feel like you're having a breakfast of the kings. So I'm just so excited to be able to give you some options for breakfast, not only for breakfast, but for savory foods that a lot of people miss when they think that they're not going to have starchy or sugary ingredients in their food items. And here you can go ahead and enjoy all of this, and you will not gain a pound. You will not have cravings, and you'll feel more satisfied. You're actually eating like a skinny person. And there's a trick to that. Later, one of these days, I'll go over that a little bit. But really, you are now eating like a skinny person because your insulin levels aren't going wackadoodle. I so look forward to seeing you on my next video about sleep, and I'll have some really good easy remedies for that, and give me feedback on the recipes. I'd love to hear from you. Talk to you later.